Hey guys, we're here today with Peter Kohler of Dark Timber Knives. I've known about Peter for probably about 2 years now, I would say. I think it was on Facebook or Blade Forums or Knife Forums or somewhere. I saw guys posting his stuff, saw his knives, and instantly wanted one of them. So reached out to Peter, got in contact with him, placed the order, waited the year and a half, 2 years, however long it is. It's an incredibly long waiting list for Peter's stuff, and for good reason. His stuff is incredibly nice. So he made me a pair of knives, custom knives. They were fantastic. Sheaths, the whole 9 yards. If you guys haven't already done it, check out Dark Timber Custom Knives. His custom knives are really as good as anybody's on the planet, without peer. I mean, just if you're an outdoors person or a guy that likes traditional looking things, I'm a Winchester guy. His in dark curly maple along with a Sharps rifle or a lever gun, it does not get better than that. So definitely check it out, guys. Peter's a very passionate guy when it comes to knife making, and I think the little bit that I've come to know him, probably everything he does in life he's very passionate about.
Yep.
So he has jumped headlong into knife making full time, gave up his day job, had a very successful career.
Hey, Children's Hospital, Colorado. Good to see you.
He retired from that part of his life.
I did.
Turned the page, moved on, went into knife making full time, wrapped his arms around it, and is going full speed into knife making.
Yeah.
Peter, talk to me a little bit about how you got into knife making and where your passion lies with that and the whole 9 yards, and tell us a little bit about Dark Timber.
Well, first thing, guys, what's up? Nice to see you. Jason just had a baby, and I'm so happy for you and your family. So congratulations on your new baby, dude. I really am super stoked for you. So
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, Jason's right.
I lost most of the baby weight already.
You can't tell. No, I just stopped working at the Children's Hospital. It was a really hard decision, but knives have become a complete passion for me. My style is a brute to forge style. I started knife making, really I got into it about 5 years ago. I saw Lon Humphrey's work, Claudio Sobral's work, and I saw the hammer marks in the knives. I had started making knives because I'm a traditional archer. I'm a hunter, and I wanted to make my own bows and arrows, and then I made my own knives, and I just got so into it. And I say, hunting really kind of made me a better person, saved my life, so to speak. And then the guys who I was going out hunting with started to ask me if I would make a knife for them. Those guys worked at the hospital. Soon people that I was working with, the nurses were saying, can I get my dad one? Can I get my brother one? I did a knife for the Ducks Unlimited organization, and my mentor, Dan McNeil, Dan, I love you, said, you really need to forge out a knife. And I forged out a knife, and because I had been looking at Lon's work and Claudio's work, I left those hammer marks in, and I just never really stopped from there. Okay. I just fell completely in love with it. And so my knives come from being, I'm a hunter, and I think, it's weird to call yourself a woodsman, but I'm a mountain woodsman. I'm in the woods a lot. I live at 8,000 feet above sea level, and so my knives are a reflection of that. My style is, I always say Mad Max meets Jeremiah Johnson. When you say, those lever action guns, that's my whole thing, is just pistol grips, the old style, old west meets apocalypse is kind of the style I like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's working. Not only are they really works of art and beauty, but they are really built for the woods. Talk a little bit about how you design the knives and the handles. And I remember the first time that we talked about the Grizzly when you were working on that, and you told me all of the work that you put into the handle, all the different grips, and how long you really thought about that and studied. I mean, I don't think I've ever had anybody put that much time and effort into just the handle, so that no matter what grip or chopping motion or whatever, you didn't have hot spots, and the knife isn't going to fly to your hands, but if you need to choke up, it's still super comfortable and balanced.
Yeah, I definitely am not the only person, I think, to ever take this approach, but when I look at a knife handle, I think my first thing that I looked at was, for a knife to fit everybody, sorry about that, for a knife to fit people well, a lot of guys will think that the width of the knife is the most important part, but that length and being able to hold from knuckle to knuckle, and that's if you're a big guy or a small guy, is super important. So when I started taking custom orders, I would have guys measure from their pinky knuckle or from their pinky knuckle to their pointer finger knuckle and tell me that, and I would want that to be a 1/4 inch over to a 1/2 inch over, depending on the guy, on either side, so that they would have room in between, and that if you were to squeeze in the center, there would be swells. And you got great examples of that, like in the Bark River Company, if you look at like contouring of handles. That was something I looked for. And then I wanted a knife where your hand wouldn't shift forward, so the contour had to work that way. And then the pistol Moran style or pistol style of grip lends itself well in the woods, because I don't use a lanyard. I don't want to use a lanyard. So my knife has to hold me in front and back no matter what I'm doing. So that was kind of my philosophy on that.
Okay, perfect. And it works. I mean, it works for a variety of hand sizes. This is actually the Grizzly production that Peter's working with Bark River. Peter, talk to us a little bit about the genesis of the Grizzly and how that came about, and how you teamed up with Bark River and all of that.
So doing a production knife is really scary for me, because as someone that forges knives, I'll hold on to it and play with it. As someone that forges knives, you know, you could almost get pigeonholed into that one thing. And so I was so lucky when Bark River asked me if I wanted to do my design with them, because I thought, here's an opportunity to get my design out to a larger group of people,
right,
and also to see what my work would look like in a more modern format.
And hey, you might not have to wait 18 months to get one.
Right, well, actually, my list is now closed.
Okay.
So it was a 2-year list when I closed it.
And now down at Blade Forms, you were really sucking wind, weren't you? What did it take, like the whole weekend to sell your stuff, or how long was that now?
No, like if something comes up, it's usually about
down at Blade Show. How long did that?
4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. So we sold how many knives?
65 knives.
65 knives in 4 hours.
But I think that is much more than just the knives itself. Dark Timber Brotherhood, big shout out to all the guys. You know, we went from having just like 100 members to a little over 700 members in the matter of a couple weeks.
And those guys are pretty passionate.
They're very passionate.
Really
and here's the thing about it is that the reason why I think those knives sold so well at Blade Show is because the knife community, especially those guys on that forum on the Brotherhood, it's a group of guys that really care about each other, that have similar values, that love the outdoors, that are into hunting, and that are into knives in all of their different forms. And that is the community that I'm trying to support in everything that I'm making.
It really is one of the fun parts about the business and the communities that we're in. A lot of the guys think very similar to us. They like guns, they like knives, they like hunting, they like fishing,
and they like art. They like
absolutely.
art. They look at these as an art form, and so do I. I think a knife can function really well, but if it doesn't look fast, if it doesn't look evil, if it's not doing that thing, I'm not going to swear on DLT, but if it doesn't cover that, I'm not trying to buy it. There's knives I buy that really aren't the most functional knives, and I love them because they look good. So I'm trying to have all that function in this. Now, the Grizzly, so I was super lucky also, because if you know Prepared Mind 101, Chris Tanner at Prepared Mind 101, the Tactical Show, What's Up Brother Tack, or Aaron from Gideon's Tactical, who's become a really good friend of mine, the internet knife reviewing community, I think, has made knives better. And during that period of time, because they tell you, what people are looking for and what is missing. And during that time, it was like, hey, Nothing Fancy had just come out with a video, why big knives don't suck, or just a couple years before that. And I am a big knife person. Not everybody is, but I'm a big knife guy. I like knives that chop, I like knives that baton, I like knives that can do that and do small and fine work.
You EDC a knife this size, don't you?
I EDC a knife an inch smaller than this.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's mine.
Right.
But and I live in the mountains of Colorado, I'm allowed to do that, so I also open carry a gun often. So but so I wanted to have a knife that met those guys' needs. And Chris Tanner was lucky enough to give me an opportunity to send a knife for him to review that first knife was one of the first 3 Grizzlies.
Really? I didn't realize that.
And so the Grizzly got its review. It's had like 50,000, views now. It did great. Aaron at Gideon's Tactical got a Grizzly. And actually, this Grizzly is an updated version. This is one of the reasons why the reviewers are so important, is because they'll tell you what needs to be changed. So when Aaron, who's supposed to be a friend of mine, told me that he had the white Ferrari instead of the red Ferrari in his Grizzly, because this distance was too short. And so there was like a small gap when he was carving right there. So in all of the Grizzlies since then, this is thicker, or not thicker, it's wider. Thickness is here, width is here, but it's wider so that when you actually do fine work, you don't find that gap. And Aaron, I'll be sending you one of these and you'll have to eat those words, because that's how I am. But
now let's talk a little bit about the production one. Some of the features like 3V steel.
Yep.
Arguably the best steel on a big knife I think that you can put into it.
Yeah.
Convex ground, Peter's expertly designed handles.
I think for the bushcraft community, 3V might be the best steel, and that's because
I wouldn't disagree with that. I really wouldn't. And fit and finish on these is spectacular. I think they are just an absolute dynamite knife. One of the best big knives, if not the best big knife I've ever seen. The sheath, absolutely awesome. Also, let's see that sheath and let's quickly talk a little bit about it. If you would.
So the sheath, Dave Raffensperger designed this sheath. He sent Mike he really graciously sent Mike the blueprints. If you order a Dark Timber Custom Knives and you want it in leather, Dave Raffensperger is the guy that is gonna make it. And he and I worked on this sheath for a long time. His is just a little bit thicker leather, but Bark River really, and you've got one of these.
I do.
This is like almost exactly
it's
how
really good.
Dave does his.
For a production sheath, it's really nice.
We have a Kydex insert in here so it'll snap in. Other than that, everything's the same. You've got a swivel loop here.
So you don't have to worry about cutting the loop. It swivels out of the way when you draw the knife.
Everything on it is completely detachable, so in the scout carry straps can be taken off really easily. There's a dangler loop. I never wear a dangler. For you guys that wear danglers, have fun with that. But for me, I will never wear a dangler. So this sheath can also these can be taken off, and it can be turned around and have a high ride belt loop also. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it would ride right about here. So the sheath offers multiple carry options. You could do scout. I don't recommend it. I think it's a dangerous way to carry. It can be carried on your backpack. With the scout straps, it can be carried as a dangler or as a high ride. So you get all of those options in the sheath. And then there's also these, is this a grommet? There's these little holes here that a piggyback sheath can be added to it. So if you want like a bumblebee, or there's a smaller knife, or if you're carrying a Zula, whatever it is, it can be, a sheath can be made and put on top of that. So a lot of thought went into it. Or a pouch. I know a lot of guys carry pouches and have their like fire safety starting equipment in there, so that's another thing that you can do with this sheath.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Peter. It was really awesome having you come down and visit with us.
It's
today
great to see you, man. By the way, again, congratulations on your baby, dude. That's awesome. You guys, this knife, I honestly think this is gonna be one of the best knives in like the medium to large knife you've seen come out of Bark River. The fit and finish is awesome. I have been all over the design process with it. I make a version of this knife that is extremely similar, just mine doesn't have this fuller, and this fuller was put in there for weight reduction. This is an extremely well balanced knife.
Incredible balance, incredibly fast in the hand. I saw this thing in pictures and liked it. When Peter brought this into the store today, I fell in love with this. This knife is awesome, and it's not because he gave me 50 bucks. By the way, you owe me 50 bucks.
Right.
It really is that good of a knife.
Just so you guys know,
fantastic.
That's impossible because I actually don't even have 50 bucks. But I really believe in this knife, and I think that I want to let you guys know there's some big things coming from me on my horizons. The support from you guys on the Dark Timber Brotherhood, or guys that follow me on Facebook or the YouTube community, I want to let you know I appreciate you. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to make really great knives for you, and I have good stuff coming out in the future. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, Peter, just be passionate about making knives, okay? And
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
Thanks very much.
Claudio Sobral, I'll see you in a couple months.